Andrew Egyapa Mercer, MP Sakande and Deputy Minister for Energy, joins us. Of course, the NDC too was accused of some level of vote buying, but you heard them say, we are not in power, so we can't afford much. So what? It's okay to be buying votes. It's a criminal conduct according to our law. So Egyapa Mercer, you were so sure that the people will not vote for someone who will be jailed. In your words, that you are sure that he will be jailed, and so on. So what happened?
Samson, good morning, and good morning to my co-panelist, my good friend Kojo. It's been a while, and then Alex as well. It's been a while since I came on your show. And good morning to our cherished viewers. Samson, I'm sure that you and I, based on our training, okay, which essentially is grounded on precedent, you can make reasonable inferences as to what is likely to happen when you are confronted with the same set of facts for which the court have had an opportunity to pronounce on. And so, following from the Adamu Sakande case, where, amongst others, he was convicted of perjury, which essentially arose at the time that he deposed to a statutory declaration on filing his nominations that he owed allegiance to no other country other than Ghana. Same set of facts that Mr. Gyakye Quayson is facing. And so on the strength of that, I am certain in my mind that when his criminal prosecution is concluded, unless of course he has any evidence in his defense, which really is in doubt, because the depositions were clear. I have a copy of my nomination forms here. I made a deposition before a judge to the facts and the truthfulness of the statements that were contained in my declaration. And the law is clear. I believe in Section 280 of the Criminal Offences Act. You make any such statements. And indeed, in the Statutory Declarations Act itself, there are criminal sanctions that follow. And so let's wait and see. But then I was expecting that.
Yeah, but I'm coming there.
Yeah.
I am sure that if the comments that you made and you repeat here, if they were made by someone else without the clout that you have, and perhaps not being on the side that you belong of the political divide, they will be cited for contempt, and they.
I don't think so.
And they will be convicted for doing the trial, literally.
Not at all. I don't think so at all. And you and I know the rules that govern contempt. Yeah, there's a thin line between commentary that is had in the public domain and one that affects directly the outcome of a particular case. I'm saying that based on the set of facts that are contained in the Adamu Sakande case, I can draw a reasonable inference that that's likely to be the outcome of the case. I don't think that is prejudicial at all, because if you relate to facts that have been established in a particular case.
Prejudicial means that you are judging the case. You are judging the case ahead of the court. And how else would you have judged the case ahead of the court when you say?
I'm not judging.
When you say with absolute certainty that you have no doubt whatsoever that he will be jailed because he has broken the law.
Of course, the facts speak to themselves. And I'm saying that based on the precedent in the Adamu Sakande case, I can make a reasonable inference. That doesn't mean that my inference is what the court ought to, as it were, follow. The court is enjoined to follow the precedent and the rules and to come out with a decision as regards the evidence that is before it.
But Egyapa, let's be clear about the differences in the two cases. And
yes,
there are clear differences, are they not? In Adamu Sakande, he had not filed to renounce his citizenship at the time he picked nomination. Neither had he received a renunciation certificate before he was elected. And then by the time he was elected and sworn and he was a member of parliament, there was no any indication that he had attempted to renounce his citizenship of 2 other countries. In this gentleman's case, he had filed his renunciation before he filed his nominations. The Supreme Court only said that you filed the nominations before you got the certificate. You filed in October and you got the certificate in November. So that's the only thing that we have, the only difference situation we have with you.
Well, so the offenses under the Statutory Declarations Act, when does it kick in?
No, I'm saying that there's a difference to the extent that Adamu Sakande was in parliament.
I don't see the difference.
Was in parliament and traveling on documents that meant that he was not he was a citizen of other countries. This gentleman is not in the same situation.
In fact, I'm told that Mr. Gyakye Quayson actually traveled in February of 2020 on his Canadian passport.
No proof.
I'm told. I don't know for a fact.
Okay, that's a rumor. So let's
yeah, of course.
let's not deal with the rumor.
I'm saying that Samson, the point really is this. At the date that you make a deposition, you depose to a certain set of facts. And so whether you had applied, because obviously if you apply to University of Ghana and you haven't received your admission letter, you can't begin to attend lectures. Okay, you cannot claim to be.
But if I tendered, I think there are two different things. And hear me. If I resign from University of Ghana, the same example. Please listen. If I resign from University of Ghana and I have not received acceptance of my resignation, I am entitled to say I have resigned, and I'm not a member of University of Ghana.
The question then arises that will follow thereof is, are you required to receive acceptance of your resignation from University of Ghana before you cease to be a student of University of Ghana?
The question that follows logically again, the question that follows logically again is whether by what I have done, I have an intention to deceive anybody.
But of course, Samson,
yes,
of course, that has to be a matter that the court would interrogate. But I'm saying that if you look at the Statutory Declarations Act, you depose to a set of facts on a particular day. At the day and time that you made that deposition, were you a Canadian citizen or not? Your intention, as far as I'm concerned, to cease to be a Canadian citizen is immaterial.
Oh, but in criminal prosecution, you must prove the fact as in the act, and then you must prove the intention. And if there's a letter showing that I have no intention and to tell you a lie, is that not important?
Samson,
yes.
Samson, I'm saying that at the time that you depose to those set of facts, your intention is immaterial. You are saying that positively that I have no allegiance to any other country other than Ghana. Was that the case?
Yes.
How was it the case?
There are people who swear allegiance to a country where they are not citizens of. Does that matter?
Well, let the court decide.
Okay. All right. So that's really where it belongs. The court must decide.
Absolutely.
But I thought that it was clear that for those of us who are lawyers, not to confuse the viewers and listeners when we say this is the same as Adamu Sakande, because they are completely different. Yeah. All right.
Samson,
yes.
The offense of perjury.
Yep.
Okay, is clear that on a particular time when you make depositions to a certain set of facts which you know to be false, you've committed an offense.
Yeah, you are lying on oath. And he says, I didn't lie on oath. I had applied to renounce.
If I had an intention
when I was challenged, the EC actually cleared me and said, you have not done anything wrong.
Well, let the court decide. We'll see.
Right. Thank you. Now, so the question is, you were so sure, once again, that you will win this. So what happened?
Oh, of course. I mean, the dynamics of every election is different. Kojo made the point about the local dynamics in Assin. And obviously, those of you who were on the ground and those of us who monitored on the media space clearly saw what was transpiring. Politics of lies, deception, falsehoods. When you go out there and make comments to the effect that a candidate is being hounded out of parliament, if you like, because you need the numbers to pass some LGBTQ act, which you know to be false. Because I know the proponent of the bill includes a member of the MPP. I'm a member of the Parliamentary Committee on Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs. We have interrogated the bill. We've done a report. Nobody is against the passage of that legislation that seeks to clarify, if you like, provisions in our existing law on same-sex relationships in this country. But of course, the sentiments of the people is what the NDC sought to play on, lying and all sorts of things. And it is what it is. But you see, Samson, Kojo also made the point about people not appreciating the nuances of the law. And in my own sober reflection, I don't think that the Supreme Court decision itself was far-reaching enough. Because this is the 8th parliament for which the court ruled that Mr. Gyakye Quayson could not hold himself as a member of parliament, and that his election really was invalid. And so the Electoral Commission, based on that, then conducts an election, a by-election, in which this same individual is participating. How does that do to the decision of the Supreme Court?
His election was invalid because by October 2020, he had not received a renunciation certificate. But by November, he had received a renunciation certificate before he was elected in December, and he was sworn
at which time,
in. At
which time the process is leading to the conduct of the 2020
by the Supreme Court ruling, if he had received the renunciation certificate in October, his election will be valid. So what's your argument?
So I'm saying that at the time that he obtained the renunciation certificate, the processes leading to the 2020 election had closed. And so he could not validly participate in that election for the 8th parliament. So how then does he then turn around and participate in an election to replace that MP after he had been removed? Because what did that mean? Effectively,
interesting.
Is to render the decision of the Supreme Court.
Are we looking forward to another challenge? Are we looking forward to another challenge on this ground in the Supreme Court?
I'm just bringing this up so we can all think through it to see whether.
Okay.
Indeed.
So let's move away from this. Do you share with those who say this could be an indication of how 2024 will go?
I don't think so at all.
All right.
Because, like I said, and like Kojo pointed out, all elections are local. It's interesting how there's a clear distinction between now Kumewu not being a competitive election and that this one is the first competitive election. Then Alex draws the independent candidate, the vote that he obtained, and adds it to the MPP candidate and says that because they're all coming from the same stock, they got 90% and the NDC got 10. The truth of the matter is that there were 3 candidates that contested the election, one on the ticket of the New Patriotic Party, one independent, and one from the NDC in 2020. Each of them obtained the votes that they did. And I'm saying that really had no bearing whatsoever on the Kumewu by-election, which occasioned as a result of the untimely demise of my good friend Baswa. Okay, 2024 is going to be a completely different set of elections. My expectation is that, yes, the economic circumstances that we find ourselves in now is a challenge for us. But of course, we've seen the data that is coming out. Right. First quarter growth of 4.2%. Clearly, it's an economy that has begun the process of recovery. And by the end of the year, all things being equal, we'll be seeing clear positive growth indicators that would assure Ghanaians that the NPP, as always, is the best that can manage the affairs of this country and its economy going forward. And so I don't share the view that this is what is going to transpire in 2024 at all. But of course, we are a political party, and we ought to learn lessons from every election.
Right.
We ought to re-strategize if there are issues. We need to do comprehensive studies of what informed the decision in Assin.
Thank you.
And to draw that would inform our preparation for 2024.
Thank you very much. That's what the party, through your General Secretary, has urged, and the President has also urged, hoping that in 2024, Assin North will turn blue.